Up though? What up though? This is Rock from the Frag Illuminati, and we back, y'all. Today's show, we're gonna be talking about those fragrance reviewers, talking about the things that we like about fragrance reviewers. You know what we look for in a great fragrance reviewers, for a great fragrance reviewer. I'm your host today. I'm gonna be right back with the fellas. Don't go away.
Trays, trays on the track.
Hey, let that ride.
What up? What up? What up? Thanks
What's
for
up? What's
waiting.
up? What's up?
What's up? Thanks
What's
for coming
happening?
back, everybody, to another episode with the Frag Illuminati. I'm back here with the fellas. We got G Man and Be Easy in the building, and we are assuming that Dre will show up. Will join us momentarily. But first, let us go ahead and introduce the fellas. Go ahead. We're starting with G Man. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back after another week of a bunch of turkey and a lot of eating. So we're good to go, man.
Okay, great. Bernie, what's going on with you? You kind of disappeared.
Bernie must have warrants or something, man.
What's happening, everybody? This be easy. What's good? What's good? Thanks for coming in with us for another episode of Frag Illuminati.
That's what's up. What folks fail to realize about us, or forget to realize about us, because of the fact that we have a good chemistry amongst ourselves, and we feed off each other so well, is that we have never met each other, right? So this is the first time that we actually got to kick it in full force in a minute, at least since the um Thanksgiving holiday. So, let's just take a moment and catch up for a second, before we get into the show. Hopefully give time Dre to give Dre a time to come back and catch up with us. What y'all been doing? What's been going on over the holiday?
Man, enjoying time with the family, counting broken bottles that came through the mail. That's all.
I know your heart was broken both times them bottles came in kind of broke.
Man, two of them, bro. Two of them. I don't buy them that often. Not as frequent as you and Dre and, well, let me say, well, you, Dre, Bernie. So I
I've
was
been on the shelf for
anticipating.
3 months.
Yeah, I
Well,
haven't.
okay.
Yeah, one bottle here and
Okay.
there, but
Y'all starting to stutter now. That means when you
yeah,
stutter, it
I've been
means
chilling for
you doing a
almost.
Herschel over there, man.
I've been clean for 3 months. Three
Yeah.
months.
So what's going on with you, Bernie? How was your holiday? What you been up to?
It was a struggle because I'm doing the weight loss thing, so it was good being with the family, but trying to struggle with changing the diet and stuff like that. But things seem like to be falling in place now.
Okay, that's what's up. Well,
Mhm.
you looking good. I see you
But
in a
thank
nice
you.
sweater
Don't
and
tell,
everything.
don't
So
tell him that,
we
man.
can
Don't tell
definitely
him
tell
that,
the
man.
change, right? You know, and we
So
do
bad.
see we got, and so far on the chat, I'm seeing Natasha. I'm seeing Jeff Johns 357. That's a new name. Welcome.
Yeah.
We appreciate you joining, brother. And it looks like Dre is in the comments. Okay.
Lying,
All right.
lying, and lying and lying.
And like all day, all day.
I
Now,
don't buy that often, man. He told me, Trey told me the other day, man, he's through Brian for the month, man. Next sentence, man, I got 21 coming through the mail. I
right.
said, I said, come on, man.
He said, I'm not buying no more. I'm not buying no more. Then he's gonna show that Zerzov joint off. Like, yep, that's gonna be my next one. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I said, man, please. And now y'all done took off and left me. Y'all done bought some stuff, and I don't even think I'm gonna be able to catch up with stuff that y'all
I'm
done
done.
bought.
I'm done, man.
Mm.
Those broken balls was a big hint for me to get up out of there, man.
And so they gonna replace your bottle, or you just getting a refund?
No, they gonna replace it. I
Okay.
might on that Spirit of Dubai, man. I might just get a refund on that one, man, because I don't think they're gonna send it back right the next go around if they don't wrap it. Because some companies would open it up and wrap it, and this one didn't seem like they were gonna wrap it. They're just gonna submit another one. My
They
boy
probably,
Jeff Johns, that's family. I see. I can
well,
barely see the picture because it's small, but that's my family. What's
we
up,
Oh, okay.
family?
we appreciate the support, my man. Thanks for thanks for tuning in. Okay. Well, today's show is about fragrance reviewers, how we go about selecting fragrance reviewers, or what fragrance reviewers keep our attention throughout throughout the loop, and things that fragrance reviewers do. I can't even talk. Things that fragrance reviewers do that kind of that cause us to tune out, right? And so, no, it's fragrance reviewers. For me, fragrance reviewers is what got me in the game. I started out listening to some of the reviewers, and the way they made some fragrances sound and feel is what started me on my fragrance journey, right? And I think that's how most of us started. Um, you have some that are more knowledgeable than others. You have some that are more entertaining than others. You have your levels of fragrance reviewers, and they all have their style, and just like everybody else, just like me, you, and Bernie, or me, G-Man, and Bernie, we all have our separate style, as when it comes to the type of fragrances we like. And the same that comes with fragrance reviewers. Some are strong when it comes to a certain type of fragrances. Some are better at bringing out designer fragrances. Some are better at bringing out niche. Some are bringing out better at bringing out luxury fragrances. Those are that nature. I'm going to start off by asking the fellas if they do listen to fragrance reviewers, and if they do, what are the type of things that they look for what type of things that keep them tuned in, and what kind of things turn them off about it. Well, let's start with G-Man.
I'll say this in the past. I think when I was still trying to develop my nose to a certain sense, and that's just a terminology we use. During the development stages, I relied mostly upon reviewers to give feedback regarding particular fragrances. What I may not have necessarily knew which direction I wanted to go in, whether I wanted a Figier, whether I wanted a Gourmand, or whether I wanted a Freshie. I kind of looked toward them to kind of lead me in a certain direction, unknowing as to whether it was a truthful evaluation or not. Because I have seen some reviewers, they get the fragrance free, and they're kind of obligated to give a positive response from the company that sent them the fragrance. And then you have some reviewers that are independent. They own their own fragrances, and they can give you a true assessment on their take on the fragrance. So I think identifying which is important, and you really don't know until and you're fresh into it. You don't know. So I saw one review one time I followed, and it seemed like everything that he was recommending was great. And I started researching and researching, and truly enough, anything that he showed, it happened to be great. And I'm thinking to myself, man, some of this stuff's got to be bad. I mean, all of it can't be great. So
No, I
that
mean,
kind
that,
of that kind of led into whether it's a credibility issue with that particular reviewer. So, at this point, I kind of do a lot of testing on my own. With its new fragrances, I will look towards a reviewer and kind of get some idea. But other than that, at this point where I am now, I rarely rely on them unless it's a brand new fragrance to see, more details about it. And that's where I am today.
oh, okay. What about you, Bernie?
Because you know how I feel about reviewers. All right, let me say it the right way. The thing is, it was a handful of them, and it doesn't take long that you can find out which ones were compromised or not.
That's the key
If
word,
you,
compromise. Yeah.
yep, if you kind of do your due diligence, and it doesn't take much, you'll see that with some of those companies are kind of giving them a kickback to kind of push their fragrance. So I always looked at like six different ones that I trusted. And if I started noticing, like let's say across the board, it's like 70, 80%, then I'll go ahead and trust that. But what I kind of look for in a reviewer, a person who's going to be honest and give their opinion, a person who, this is another reviewer I can't stand. I can't stand one to take stuff personal. You know what I mean? It's like, smell the fragrance, tell me what you think, what are the key points, the other stuff like that. I don't care about you being personal when it comes to that fragrance. I've seen a lot of people be deviated from a fragrance because a particular reviewer that have a big following may dislike it because of something personal. Like maybe it's the formulation, or maybe the company didn't give them the little kickback that they were looking for, or whatever the case may be. Those are things that bother me. But some of the reviewers are very helpful because they can give you a backstory on the fragrance. They can give you an indication on what is familiar to. So it may be something that you already have in your collection, so you can get a better idea. And the ones that I lean on heavy, they always gave me that one gem that you wouldn't get like from other people. You know what I mean? And it really helped me save a lot of money. But since we came together, I don't even look at them anymore. I trust the noses within the Illuminati. We throw stuff around, and whatever that is, I pretty much go on. But reviewers can be very, very helpful, especially the ones who are very honest, they're upfront, because they really helping you save a lot of money. It's nothing worse than spending $300 for some juice, and it's terrible. You know what I mean? And we know how it is trying to do resale online. You know what I mean? So reviewers can be very, very helpful, but just use a keen ear. You can follow it. It's one in particular. No matter what this house made, everything was good. I'm like, come on, Slim. I know for a fact three of these joints, is horrible. And it's like everything this house make, it's like, oh, is this, it's a
Great.
must have, and da 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 da. I'm like, come on, bro. And then you go right next door. It's okay. It's this, it's that. And it's like every fragrance this house made, everything was good. And I was like, man, I was through after that. And I started backtracking some of his older videos, and I started noticing the pattern, you know. But using for what they're good for, you're gonna find one that kind of relates to you. That's another thing too. Find a reviewer that relates to you and
Mhm.
the type of nose that you have and what you're trying to do with your collection.
That's
That was
So,
very helpful for me, finding
so when
a
you
reviewer.
say the type of nose you have, Bernie, elaborate on that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
Well, because we're not gonna say their names. It was certain ones. Age, age was the same, right?
Okay.
The area that they in, the way that they dress and their personality, as well as how versed they are about the fragrances. That was huge for me. Like, no disrespect, a 20-year-old, I'm not going to listen to what he got to say as far as what to wear. You know what I mean? So I really look at the age, and age is not really a bit discredit, but I look at their age because some of them were young, and then they will rule out a particular fragrance because it was too mature. So you know what I mean? So I look at somebody close to my age, the kind of style, the way that I dress, where they located at, because that's very helpful too. Some people may not think it is, but it's real helpful. Like, let's say when we had Mondo here in the Middle East, right? So if he had a show, the things he's wearing there, we're close to age, but because he's in the Middle East, a lot of that stuff won't resonate here, if that makes sense. Like if I ask you, G, like, what's some of the fragrance you wear, I'm aware of the weather in Texas. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So if it's getting into the warmer months, anything coming off of you, I'm leaning on. Let's say with rock. He's in Colorado. Well, I don't think he wants people to know where he at, but he's
He's
in a
in the
particular
cold.
So, Papa.
he's
He
in a
moved from the
particular
cold to
area.
the cold, man. He's in
So
cold climates, man.
we're leaning more into the winter in my area. So if he say, man, so and so is banging, B. I went to this rooftop. Man, that joint had 9 hours. I'm listening. You know what I mean? Because I know how rock style is, how he dressed, and he's very meticulous about what he put on his skin. I hope that answered the
Mhm.
question or it made sense to the listener.
No, that's perfect details, man. That's kind of what I was asking.
Hmm.
And I think wanting to understand exactly specifically what you mean when you were saying all that, and that hit it right on, hit the nail on the head, man. Because all that matters.
one thing I wanted to
Now, what
say.
about you, Rock? What about you?
Yeah.
You put us
Well,
on the spot.
well, okay, I'm going to answer too. But one thing I did want to say earlier, and during the introduction that it kind of slipped up, is I wanted to reiterate the fact that what was different between the Illuminati and what our space is, our space is, or what we're trying to capture here in the in Fragcom. We're not reviewers. Now we may review fragrances among ourselves, among our little circles, but we don't put the notion out that we are fragrance reviewers. We um I still listen to fragrance reviewers. There are quite a few that I listen to. Some more than others. And like I said, that's how I got my game. That's how I got into the game. What I do look for, like Bernie said, is someone that's very authentic, right? Someone that is very entertaining and knowledgeable without getting much off track, right? I don't need to know. I mean, even though a fragrance may tell a story, or even though the perfumer or the creative director behind it might have wanted a particular story to be pointed out, I don't feel like that it's the um, reviewers' job to try to articulate that story, as opposed to just tell us how the fragrance is, right? Because
Now,
then,
so when you say that, Rock, not cutting you off,
right,
when you talk about telling a story, give us an example of what you mean on that.
right, okay. So, for example, the House of Argos, right? Um, Most of their fragrances are centered around Greek mythology, right? So Triumph of Bacchus, for example, there's a story behind Triumph of Bacchus, and then there's a story behind Triumph of Bacchus where Bacchus was some guy in Greek mythology, and he had a story about what he did, and the scent is supposed to ref- somehow remind you or reflect that, right? Right. But from what I get from it is, I love that warmness, the peach, the tobacco, the
Hmm.
saffron. That's what I'm loving about the scent, right? The Greek mythology portion of it, even though
Careless.
it's a great
Hmm.
story to tell, but it's not that important when we're talking about the reviewing of the
Creed
uh
is like that too. Because
Creed,
each
yeah, they're storytellers, yeah.
right.
So what you
There's a
saying, Rock?
lot.
You want the
There's a
meat and
lot because
potatoes of it all.
right, because Amarage is like that too. Every
Mhm,
particular fragrance of Amarage is made was made for a certain noble-like or a certain king or a certain this,
mhm,
and they'll come out and they'll try to tell you that, oh yeah, when King Henry VIII came out, and and
mhm,
sometimes that's beside the fact, or that's not
mhm,
part of what we want to know. Okay, how long does it last? Can I wear it to work? Can I wear it? I mean, is it a sexy scent, or is it a nice scent? Things of that nature. That's what I want to know, right? Can I wear it during the day? Can I make it? I mean, can I wear it during the day? Is it a t-shirt fragrance, or do I need to button it up?
mhm,
Or is it one of those that's convenient? You know what I'm saying? And even though we all, we do what we want with our fragrances as far as that is concerned, we still look for them to tell us the important parts when it comes to that.
Well, I can tell you this, man. Creed have you out there skiing on mountain, breaking your neck, wearing Silver Mountain water, out in the middle of the ocean wearing Virgin Island water, drowning to
Yeah,
death. To
yeah,
Right.
listen
yeah.
to them stories, man,
Hmm.
it's like Jeff said in the comments. It's a marketing ploy, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Smart can stay. You out there and read all that stuff, man. Think you out there trying some Bacchus, you out there fighting dragons and all that stuff, man. You forget what you supposed to smell like.
Yeah.
So I
They
think,
claim, because they claim what President wore this scent, and come to find out the president never did.
Mhm.
yeah.
Trying to do whatever to try to push the fragrance.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
And
You
some
know,
people
not,
fall for that, man.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not that. Either smells good, either don't, either lasts, either don't. Either is good, either is bad. That's when I'm looking at a review. That's what I'm trying to determine. The suitability of it, the worth of it, the value of it, and all that. Skiing on top of mountain slopes, I was discovered what you're supposed to see all over the world. That really doesn't mean anything to me personally. But there are some people out there that they like the stories. I'm just not one of those.
Now, not to cut rock off, another
mhm.
thing you can listen to for a reviewer. Let's say if it's a fragrance that's like $500, the ones who really are authentic, is it worth 500? No. You can
Yeah, they'll
get
tell
such
you.
and such and such and such.
Yeah.
Or that's when those are the key things. I know people may say, well, how can I tell? You would hear some of them would say, it's 500. Is it really worth that? No. If they said, yeah, it is, then you know what I mean. It kind of helps you with your investment when you're buying those fragrances. The people who are compromised, yeah, they don't even get into the price and stuff like that. If they do, they tell you it's worth getting. You know what I mean?
I,
So those are the key things that you should listen out for.
I think
How?
another thing they'll do sometimes is they'll say, "Is it yes, a wonderful fragrance? This is a price point on it. Is it
Hmm.
blind buy worthy?"
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
then they'll
yeah.
be honest and they'll say, "Well, yeah, if this is your thing, yeah, the cost is 600,
Hmm.
$700. Me
Hmm.
personally, it'll be blind buy worthy for me, but
Hmm.
it's one that you'd have to determine and experience for yourself before you just blind buy. I
Yeah.
never, and they would give a disclaimer. I never say anything is worthy of blind buying without first checking if it's of
Hmm.
value. So that's
Hmm.
building credibility to me for them to be honest and saying that, because we know fragrances are subjective, and
Yep.
what I may like, and even the four of us, we get together and we talk about different fragrances, and some like fragrances more than others. Silver Mountain Water. I'm not gonna mention any names, but Cat's got two bottles of them, but he says underrated, overrated, and all that. But that's a show from a different story. And this guy waves a flag, when his team plays and all that. But
I
I'm
thought he was
not
gonna do it
bringing that.
today.
I'm not bringing that up. So I'm just gonna go and leave it there.
Oh, anyway.
I thought you was gonna do that today. I
Right.
was like,
Okay.
okay.
You threw me off real quick. I had a question I was about to throw out there, and he completely threw me off. How do y'all feel about top 10 lists?
I, to me, I mean, the list that you have, you're methodical, man. To
Well,
that
okay,
the
let me
sense that you
rephrase the
do all
question.
that.
I'm talking about with fragrance
Reviewer,
reviewers when they say, okay, the top 10 summer fragrances, these are the top 10 winter fragrances, these are top 10 designer, top 10 niche, these are top 10 boss fragrances, top 10 um
must have.
yeah,
Hmm.
top 10 must have for Father's Day. How do you feel about those lists?
I still say whether it's a reviewer or whether it's my own opinion,
Hmm.
my idea of a top 10 may not be theirs. Theirs may not be mine. So
Okay.
I take it with a grain of salt. If it's something that I'm interested in,
Hmm.
then yeah, I'll say okay. Well, they say it's noteworthy, then it's noteworthy. But for me to make a top 10 based upon one reviewer, that's just that person's opinion.
I
It's not
mean, do
mine.
you
We're all
well,
different.
okay, so you did say earlier that you don't listen to reviewers that much, and Bernie, you
Right.
said you stopped listening to them,
Hmm.
right? So is that something that did you? I mean, because depending on the reviewer, Okay, because all of them have different tastes. So you
Mm-hmm.
might go out and say this particular viewer might say, okay, here's my fall list, and then someone else will come out with their fall list, and then the other one comes out with their fall list. It's not something that you compare to see who missed what, or this, that, and the other, or how much that you have of that, or how much that you have that's hot right now, and what else that you might want to get that might be considered hot, or anything of that nature.
I
Go ahead, Jay.
I've if it's like I said, if it's something I'm interested in, then I may look at a review to see what their assessment is. But in the end, I'm gonna make the determination as to whether it's good or not. And I'll give you an example, man. You know, I'm a Creed man. Me and Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People are quick to tout Adventus, and they'll talk about, yeah, man, that's the number one best Creed. But bro, be honest, I got a lot of Creeds, and that's one I don't even put my hands on.
Mm-hmm.
So if I went based upon opinions and evaluations, then I would be led to believe I'm wrong in my opinion about what I like. So in the end, I may look at it to see what others are saying, but in the end, I'm going to buy what makes me happy and what I'm going to be pleased with.
Okay, what about you, Bernie?
Oh,
He already smiling.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I use it to pop my collar.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if they name a fragrance that I have and I listed high, and they have it in their top 10, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. That is that shit, you know. But
Man,
but
me too.
usually, yeah, because
Me
it's
too.
like as soon as I hear a dude top 10, I'm like, yo, I got about 8 of them Jones. You know, yeah,
Oh
I'm on the
man,
right page. I
dude did a
really use it as a collar popper.
yeah, dude
And go ahead.
yeah, dude did a panty dropper one about a year ago, and I
Hmm.
had like 8 or 9 of them on the list, and I was like,
Indeed.
okay, okay.
And, you know, because it's family here, the listeners and stuff. Usually, when I look at the top 10, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got that one
I
too.
got
Yeah,
that one. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then they may name one. I'm like, huh? They, you know, like Leonard said, now while they talking, I'm looking it up and like, oh, I see why, because it has these 3 notes. It's this perfumer who's behind it. I may go ahead and add that to the list. I'm like, well, where did that come from? You know, sometimes when people have a top 10, majority of the reviewers are going to be the same. It just may be the top 5 will vary. But when I hear like 6 or 7, all of them saying that particular one, and there's one I don't have, that's when I start doing my due diligence to see, should I get it? Shouldn't I get it? How did I miss this? You know, and stuff like that. But it used to bother me at one point, but now I just use it as a collar popping thing to see where I line up with their collections and stuff.
Now with me, now one thing that especially when it comes to top 10 lists, and even with reviews, um, one thing I hate that reviewers will put in their list is a discontinued fragrance, right? Because of the fact that, especially if it's a designer discontinued fragrance, because I'm gonna tell you right now, Pure Havana. I don't want. I've never smelled Pure Havana. You know, I'm sure I can't find it for a reasonable price, so I don't never want to hear about Pure Havana ever again, right?
Who is that?
So
Who is that made by?
by Mugler.
You had to do the
Okay,
diet.
Right.
okay.
Yeah, but it's been discontinued for about a year. But in pretty much every reviewer's list, they'll still list that as probably one of the top tobacco fragrances. But in which it may be, right? But if you want to put it in a best ever category, then I can
Yeah,
understand, right?
yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
if it's you want to put it in like the 22 best tobacco fragrances, this, that, and the other, right? But if it's discontinued, I don't need to hear about it because number one, I'm not about to pay somebody else's discontinued price for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And two, it's like, it's why? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, unless you just want to tell us about a fragrance that we just can't get, but how? I mean, y'all got any?
No,
Yeah, I
you
think.
dead on it. You dead on it
Right.
with
Yeah,
that.
I think when Dre hears stuff like that, man,
Mhm.
discontinued, hard to get, that makes him work to go find it, man. Just because Dre, Dre, be, Dre be like, what?
Man, I gotta
I
have it.
gotta
Put
have
it
it.
on the
Put it on
list.
the list.
He like
Hmm.
put it on the list. I know Drake is he like, oh, okay. He like the hunt of having stuff that nobody else can have, that nobody else got.
I think we're all
Right.
like that though. On
Right.
the up, I think we are. I'm like that too.
Yeah. But I mean when it's
Uh
high
oh.
end and exclusive, right? But I'm not running out to buy spike. I'm not running out to buy 1 million Lucky or 1 million
Oh no,
Privé because they
Oh,
discontinued it. So I don't need
yeah,
to hear about 1 million Privé no more. Right.
yeah,
So
because I like that baby, the baby cat, YSL baby cat, and it's
mhm.
another one I think they got.
But they not
This kind of,
discontinued. They just
it's kind of hard to get.
right. They
hmm
just they just they just produce it lightly, I guess. But yeah, but they're not discontinued. They just right. But
that was a real bad habit they had for a while, and then you started noticing a trend
mhm,
where they put a disclaimer,
right.
or they may say it's on the back end honorable mention, but they it's discontinued. So if you can get it, this,
Mhm.
but that it was real bad though. It was like everybody would have their top 5 and 10. Damn near two of them was discontinued. And I'm like, what's the purpose of talking about it then? If they're not talking about greatness of all time, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. That used to irritate the hell out of me.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. Another thing that another thing that I like that fragrance reviewers do is um like Bernie said earlier, if it's an honest review and if it's an honest review and if they don't like the product or if they say that it's not for them, then go ahead and say that, right? There are some people who will give a disclaimer that says that this bottle was sent to me, right? I didn't ask for it or whatever. It was sent to me, and these are my thoughts, right? And so, all right, but you have those ones that have a relationship with because I think I'm the one that got burned off of um that Santa and I'm going to say this one Santa Lucia. That's Santa Lucia because every
Now,
fragrance,
who is that one?
huh?
Is that a fragrance?
Yep, that said it.
Who's that made by?
The one that came at 3 in the pack, come closer to conquering every day.
What
It was
Okay.
brand?
3 in the pack. Every fragrance viewer online hyped that fragrance up and told us that if we didn't buy it right then and there, it was going to be sold out the next day. Right? The whole set was $450, but we can buy it for $300 right there on the spot. Right? And if you don't act now, it's going to be sold out. You'll never be able to get them again. Oh yeah, I dropped the $300. Fragrances are garbage.
Mm.
Garbage. I
Mm.
use them as air freshener at the house now. Most expensive air
Ah.
freshener, right?
So you
So,
got
Ah.
$300 paperweights, huh?
right,
Mm.
exactly. So, right.
But
So, but
I'll
it,
be honest. I have seen some reviewers that they get fragrances and probably kickbacks, and sometimes you have to listen to what's not being said
mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
with a reviewer. And I've heard some reviewers they'll talk about instead of saying talking about how good it is or how bad it is, they may say, well, it contains these particular notes and so, and they'll talk all the way around it. And if you listen to what's not being said, they're telling you that it's not a good fragrance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
oh yeah,
have
you can
seen
pick
that
that
too.
up. You can definitely pick that up, right? And I think they know that we can pick it up because it's not like,
And I think
um,
that's their intent too.
right,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right, and then you will have those that'll tell you right off rep, I'm not trying to sell you anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do what you want, but I'm telling you how I like it and what it does for me. And with that, that comes with a lot of respect. I appreciate that when that happens, right? And so, but when you come across and you push it, you make it, you um, when you put out the FOMO out there, the fear of missing out, and so when you promote that, the fear of missing out, it kind of takes away the credibility of that particular reviewer.
I don't know if you had these on your bullets, but this is like it may
Mm-hmm.
be petty, but it's two things that agitate me.
Mm-hmm.
Is when they do a review and they got a little ass decant, right? And this and the second one that
I'm
bothers
with
me.
you on that one, man. I'm with you.
The second one
Three
that
sprays
bothers
out
me.
of it, man. They tell you about
Hey, I'm
everything.
like, I mean, come on, bruh. And the other one is when they read everything verbatim. Remember, we had a private conversation like certain notes we can pick up, this, that, and the third. Tell me what you smell. I know what the notes and stuff is, and it's listed.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate when they're reading everything straight down and then they're giving a review based off of everything on that card. Come on, bro. Come on, man. There's a few fragrances that we're not going to name that we all have, and there's certain things that we get from it that's different between the three of us, and it's the same joint. So don't sit here and say, "Oh, as it wonderfully goes down to the dry down and such and such and such." The saffron in the opening it pops, and I'm like, you can see eyes looking at the card, like going down the notes. That's what I mean by being authentic. I'm like, man, go ahead. And by that time, I done switched off from them. They got this big presentation on the thumbnail. You go in, you see a little decant. I'm like, come on, bro. Because
But let
remember
me
one
ask
of
you a
our
question.
episodes. Hmm.
Does that make a difference? A decant versus full
Yes,
bottle?
they do. Because remember we had a discussion. I don't know if it was on air or off air. How we kind of grade if we go out in the streets with it. Remember when we was yeah, it was on air when we was talking about layering. How we'll use the scent like a few days in house before we even go out in the streets with it. So if I got a little decant, how am I gonna be able to really get a good feel of
It's
the
hard
fragrance?
if it's one of those the ones from the
The
store.
small.
It's
Yeah.
hard
Hmm.
for me to get a full understanding of that fragrance through from that little
Yeah, and then they hit
thing,
the hit the strip.
and right, and there's some people, and I can never get one from the strip. Now I get a
Yeah,
smell from the strip, but you're not going to experience the dry down or anything from the strip, right?
exactly,
And
exactly.
so, and like, yeah, everybody knows that I rate my fragrances and this, that, and the other. If I don't have at least a 10 milliliters of that fragrance, it doesn't get rated, right?
Hmm.
So, right, so for someone to actually come on and say, okay, well, I just got a sample of it, and this is what I pick up from it, and this is what I did. But they've been doing it a lot longer than we have, so maybe
True.
they have learned how to go about doing it. But
No, Eric. No,
right,
no.
but
Nice try, man. Nice try.
right, but look, but yeah, it's difficult for me because I can't do it. I can't sit there and say, okay, because someone in one of our groups, someone put up a post and said, okay, if you got a sample, do you even count that as an owning that particular fragrance? And I'm like, no, I don't.
Mm-mm.
Right,
I count. I count bottles, man. To be
and I
honest,
count bottles as
Hmm.
well. So,
Hmm.
but and I guess I guess it's possible to be able to rate a fragrance based on just a sample. You can look at it and say, okay, it smells good, but get it full wearing, because most of the time I feel like those samples wear out too quickly, or I don't get an opportunity to reapply when I need to, and and I think that's an important part of it. No, it
You're
ain't
right about
good.
that, Rob. Because somebody gave me a sample in the store,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me buy it. And when I got home, I said, "Man, this don't smell nothing like it did in that little sample. It's completely different." So
Completely different.
I couldn't get my head around it. But just like what you said, it may be old or it might have lost a little something, and the stuff that's packaged up is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
We can do another episode down the road about how they do that. But
Let me
it smelled completely different from the sample that they gave me.
well, you
let
should have
me
got
ask
some
you
coffee
this.
beans, man.
What about the appearance of a fragrance reviewer? Does that matter? I
Yeah.
know Drake. I mean, I know Bernie mentioned, a 20-year-old couldn't tell him anything. Is there anything else that sticks
Don't
out
say that.
about
Right, that's dirty now. If you got youngers like hell with BEs. I have nothing wrong with younger reviewers. I like them.
right.
I like them.
I,
There's no problem.
I I think the point he's making, Eric, is you have to know who you are and how
Mm-hmm.
you carry yourself. If you're a finesse type of guy and you're not trying to be a thug, listen to a thug reviewer. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be suitable for you because you don't think the same way. But if you carry yourself a certain way, you dress a certain way, then most of the time you can identify with somebody that carries himself and dresses himself the same way, and it would pretty much wear the same type of fragrances you would wear. You can
Uh-huh.
identify them with them versus identifying with somebody you have nothing in common with. So I will look at reviewers, and you have some. I mean, they're just different personalities, man. And I relate to the ones that I'm closest relatable to.
So someone that you consider would definitely be outside of your circle couldn't tell you that a fragrance would smell good. Could you be like, okay, he doesn't look like the type that would wear what
No,
I would want to wear.
no, I'm not gonna say that because
Right.
opinions are just opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
I would
It's
value
subjective.
somebody's opinion
Mm-hmm.
that I had more in common with
Mm-hmm.
on the actual wearing, the purchasing of the fragrance, and the value of the fragrance versus somebody that I have nothing in common with. If somebody says, regardless of how they dress and carry themselves, if they say it's a good fragrance, it smells good, then I'm not going to downgrade that because they're dressed a certain way.
Okay.
Like a good example of that because we have a major advantage that females don't have. Female reviewers, because now I may have my ear up a little bit because she may say, I love this fragrance. My boyfriend wears this. My father wears that. I really like the way it smells. So now we kind of sometimes like when I was saying, am I relating to them? Sometimes when I listen to a female reviewer, we kind of have that advantage because now they can kind of the ones that's authentic can
Mm-hmm.
give you, every time he wears it, he can get it, or this is one of those kind of fragrances. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me put that on the list.
Do I need to mute this point, man?
Go ahead and
No, but it's
go
like a
ahead and
spin.
mute it. Go ahead and mute it.
No,
But
it's just a
you
spin
kind
based
of
off of what we're saying. That it's not always related to that, but sometimes female reviewers, I enjoy listening to them too.
and you
Hey,
kind of
man,
you kind
I'm
of
looking
skip.
at I'm looking at a comment. Nicole Lee said, "What irritates her is when a reviewer says, 'I don't know the notes, it just smells good.'"
Yeah, man. I was like, come on, son. It only take about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, look it up. But shoot, you're right.
But
Go
Bernie
ahead.
kind of skipped to what I was going to bring up about.
My bad.
Well, no problem. It's a good segue. I was going to bring up female reviewers, right? Because the thing about female reviewers is that they will go ahead and review both men and women fragrances, right?
Hmm.
As opposed to most men reviewers who are only dealing with male scents, which but they do have a good feminine following, right?
Hmm.
So, which kind of puts us in a handicap, I guess, puts me in a handicap because whenever if I am entertaining somebody, if I do got someone that I want to purchase a fragrance for, right? I'm pretty much asking the women what smell good because I don't know based on the reviewers that I listen to what women are wearing and what's hot and this that and the other. I got an idea now from the group that we're in, but if I had to depend on reviewers, especially male reviewers, I wouldn't be able to get the female what to know what females are wearing, and maybe that's something that reviewers should start is just seeing what they like that smell good on their women. That way, we have an
Hmm.
idea of what goes out and um, to buy for women when it comes
Well,
out.
is it more important? I'm gonna ask the question: is it more important for a man to know what smells good on a woman than it is for a woman to smell good on a man?
Damn good question.
Because I'm gonna
Damn
be
good
honest.
question.
Do we really focus on as males, do we focus on women's fragrances and what we like to smell on a female more so than women? I mean, ladies, man, they do this layering thing. Natasha came on the show and she was layering stuff. I didn't even know what layering was, man. I thought, I thought it was fragrance on fragrance.
Nah,
She talking about body lotions, oils, all that. So it was an education experience for me. And so I think there's so much advanced in the game than we are. So I would like to think that they would be more inclined to wonder what's good on a man versus us worrying about what's good on a woman.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, that's like when I'm vetting a girl. That's one
Mm-hmm.
of the things I check because, like, when Natasha was talking, I said, Natasha gonna mess around and get hit upside the head because she pushing, she was pushing the right button
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. All right,
Now,
not getting
hey,
off
for
topic.
that a disclaimer, man,
It's
we like
it,
Natasha. That's our girl, man.
this is the thing.
You know, the
He
flag
messed me up.
Illuminati is quick to put disclaimers out here, boy. I swear.
The thing is that what I really enjoy with a female is the time that they take and attention to detail. If
Yeah.
when I'm going out with this woman, and let's say like Natasha doing the layering and
Mhm.
wearing certain stuff, knowing, understanding the assignment where we're going. We're going to this rooftop, and they wearing a gown, and all of that attention to detail and how they look and the smell and stuff like it means a lot. When is when I go out with somebody and it's like some random product, my bad, a regular old scent they just throwing on, it's okay. But when I see that a woman is checking those boxes when we're going out, and I see them doing the layering and spraying and stuff like that, man, shoot, we met to end the episode and talk about what happens afterwards. It makes a big difference with me, especially when they blend in the Bath and Body. That they had a little sale the other day. The Bath and Body with other fragrances, and
Uh-huh.
then they kind of monitoring your activity when they wear certain stuff, and then you start noticing they lean more to this versus leaning more to that. So I kind of appreciate a female knows, especially one who takes that time, like a lot of them girls in that group do. It means a lot to me.
You
But
know what
I
that means to
understand.
me?
Because I mean, I've learned a lot
What's
from
up?
them, just
Yeah,
You
from
know what
you.
that mean?
yeah.
You know what that means, fellas?
What's
Mm.
up, Len?
We like to smell good. We ain't got a chance, man.
She
We
said we
think
ain't
we
got a
up on the
chance,
game.
bro.
They 4 steps ahead, man.
Man, when she talked about that breakdown, bro, I said, man, Tosh need to go sit down somewhere, bro. She need to go sit down. And then look at the comments. Gia and all of them, yeah, girl, I do this with the food and da 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 da. I'm like, damn, okay.
What up, though? I love, what is it? J Love Jams. What up,
Mhm.
though? Urban Sunshine. Welcome. Welcome. We appreciate all of our subs, all of our subscription. And we do want to take a time out right now to say, if you do like this type of content, go down there and subscribe, hit a like button, share us out, tell your friends about us. Also, go over there and follow us on Instagram at Frag Illuminati. We do not bite. We do answer questions. We do answer questions and we do follow back. So, and that's another thing that I wanted to point out about fragrance reviewers. One thing that I don't like is the ones that solicit your support, but they do not follow back. Right? Do not follow back. I think that's kind of annoying. It's just kind of, because a lot of, especially when it comes to, and we've witnessed it with the Frag Illuminati. A lot of support that we have gotten have come from people that are also content creators and have their own pages and this, that, and the other. And I do, when I'm policing the page, try to follow everybody that's following us, right? And so, and I just feel like that's a thing that a lot of fragrance reviewers are not doing. You'll see the 50,000 followers and this, that, and the other, and in some cases, I know that they're using their personal page as also a business page, and I can understand why following everybody can't be realistic, but still support the people that are doing the same things that you are supporting you. So, how do you guys feel about that?
I feel when they do review, they need to put them kids down. They need to put the cat down, crawling all over everything. I just had to say that because I just thought about it, man. I saw a wrong review this girl was giving, and
Mm-hmm.
man, she had the cat crawling around in her neck, and I'm like, you know what? I mean, I understand the informal review, but man, go put
Mm-hmm.
the kids to sleep or something, man. Babies crying in the background, dogs barking. I'm like, okay, well, they're passing on that one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
your
know.
question, I forgot what your
Yeah.
question was, man. I just had to
You
say
said
what went through my
following
mind.
back.
So, huh?
Yeah, people
Following back,
following
yeah, I
back.
think that. I think it's real important to do that because if someone takes the time to go to listen to you, I know we want them to feel that we appreciate them and not take them for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's paramount that you do that because it does show that you're receptive to them, you appreciate them because they don't have to tune in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think we want to take anybody for granted. We ain't got no 50,000 people, but
Right.
even if we did, we try to work out a
Still
system
do the same.
to where we can still respond back. And I
Hmm.
just think that's a approach. It's kind of like customer service.
Yeah. Well.
Rock, what you
Um.
wearing today, man?
Today I am going with a relatively new one from Argos. This is called Dene. Right?
Mm,
It is a woody sandalwood type fragrance. It starts out kind of fresh and fruity, but dries down kind of airy. I like I said, is relatively new, so I haven't got many wears out of it. Let me see if I get that there. What's great about Argos fragrances is that they are known for their presentations. The caps are kind of heavy, and all of their fragrance has great longevity. And this one is called the Nay. And like I was stating earlier, we're not reviewers, but
mm,
the Nay has the this comes from their artist collection, and the Nay was another figure that they wrote about. But what stands out in this fragrance here is, like I said, the woods. It's a lot of cedar wood, a lot of sandalwood, and it lays down nice, real nice, real nice. I'll be able to tell you more about it before, but again, later. But like I said, it's new to my collection, and I haven't really um, layered it down. This is like one of the first times I'm wearing it.
So is it a completely new fragrance or just one new to you?
New to me. They
Okay.
made it when I say that, but it just was released in 2021, so it is a new fragrance,
mm.
right?
Okay.
Mhm. Right. So, and yeah, Argos fragrances are not cheap. 100 milliliter of that fragrance will probably run you about 265. That's a 30 milliliter. Um, uh,
100 ml for 265.
right,
That's
and
not really bad though.
that's a 30 milliliter. That one's for like 140. I can put there is a QCon code that you can probably use to get a few bucks off of it, if you're interested. And at the end of the show, I'm going to put a link down below as to the fragrances, its notes, and where you can purchase it and buy it. All right.
Now that's the 100 ml. That's the retail price you quoted.
Yep. hmm And when
Mm.
you find it at buyargos.com, you're not going to be able to find Argos at any retailer. I'm sorry, discounter as of yet, right? You just have to actually go onto its site, buyargos.com. And other fragrances that they got in their repertoire are, like I spoke of before, Triumph Bacchus, which is a great
That's a
tobacco
common.
scent.
Yeah, that's a common, well known for that house.
Yeah, to
Top
me,
Vodkas.
that's the best from their line. Antoine says that this is the best. This is his favorite from their line, and which I can understand why. It is a good fragrance. Um,
What is that
I
one
have,
like?
I'm sorry.
Triumph Bacchus. What is that one like?
Oh, that one is lovely. That's peach, that's tobacco, that's rum. It's got a little
Wow.
vanilla in it, and that tobacco and vanilla dry down is heavenly. It
Mm,
lasts all day. It definitely
that
lasts
sounds
all day.
good.
Right.
Yeah, that's some good
Mhm.
notes in there, man.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
hmm Yep.
And
Yeah,
I
I
would
never had a little
look at
saffron in
consider,
it
but
too.
I would
Hmm.
look at considering that. But you got it. Since you got it, I'm gonna pass on.
You can't have you out here smelling like me, man. Can't have you out here smelling.
Right?
Right. hmm
You going through the comments, man?
Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you people think? I'm not saying. I mean, all the questions that were asked, it looks like we addressed for the most part. Um, of course, we got Dre in the comments, stating that if a reviewer doesn't have his complexion, then he's or right, he probably not listening. Right.
Dre, wow.
Right.
Man, I don't know what complexion that is because Dre not listening halftime either way.
Exactly. Right. So Urban Sunshine says she don't want she don't want to see pets during the review. Right. So and we covered most of my bullet points. We talked about we're gonna get to we looking for somebody that gets to the point, that's honest. Even if it's not good, they let us know that it's a paid sponsorship. Um uh we have a problem with ones that have a paid that have too many paid sponsorships, or a paid sponsorship that doesn't have anything to do with fragrances. So halfway through a top 10 list, they start talking about skincare. Okay. Right. So that can be annoying. Right. So uh, I'm trying to see if there's anything else that we wanted to. How do you feel about guests coming on the show, coming on a reviewer show, reviewing the top 10, and they say, "Okay, close your eyes, smell this, and tell me what you think." Is that corny, or how y'all feel about that?
I I've seen them. I've seen them done all different ways, but in the end,
Mhm.
it comes down to the substance of the review and what I get out of it. I mean, people are creative. I've seen people dancing on the thing and doing all these other stuff leading up to it. So I mean, to me, none of that phases me because when I look, I'm there looking to turn to for a specific purpose, and whether they meet that purpose and you know give me the information I'm looking for. So I could take it or leave it. If it's too corny, I'm gonna do like Bernie, just click it off right then and go on.
Exactly. Mhm.
I don't like how it's one particular reviewer, and his wife just runs all over him. And he may say he like a particular scent, and as soon as she says she don't like it, then all of a sudden he don't like it. You know,
Okay, that's not me. I'm not a reviewer, y'all.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about it's a particular reviewer, and I was like, yo, every time he have his wife on, it's like he completely backs off anything he stands on to, refer to her. When it's done right, it's kind of dope. You know what I'm saying? When it's done right, it's dope because it's like they may reflect back on that's what you had on the other night, or why did you like it? Again, getting that insight and what the female is receiving from the scent. Even though we like it, what do you think of it, and giving more insight. When it's done right, it's dope. But a lot of times when it's done, they're just conferring to the person who's smelling. And I don't like that. If you said that it's dope and then initially, and then this person saying it's not, then you change. You're not being authentic. Stand on it. There's nothing wrong with a good debate because, like Leonard said in the beginning, scents are subjective.
They are.
You know what I mean?
Well, Bernie,
And
let me tell you what's really going on, man. That dude ain't coming to spend the night with us, so he's gonna fix it right at home. So, so he don't get in trouble. That's what he's doing. He's saving face, man. Baby, this is great. I don't like it. Me either. Me either.
It was wild. I'm like, yo, you just said it was dope last week. Oh no, no. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. I'm like, okay. Listen, your credibility shot.
Well, shoot.
Hey
I
man, they don't
mean,
care. They
Huh?
don't care
so
because
when
they got
you
to play sleep
when
at night.
when you go buying the $500 plus fragrances, do you take your wife with you to make sure she like it first?
Who me?
No,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh no. I just buy my own thing, man. And I've said that before because if you know that Fougere, she's
Mhm.
not really a fan of it, so I just make sure when I'm wearing it, I'm not with her.
Really? Okay. All
Because I
right.
mean, if
Mhm.
you know that if I'm around her and it's a fragrance she don't like, then I'm gonna be courteous and not wear it around her. Because I
Exactly.
mean that if she's got something on I don't like, I think she would put on
Do the
something else
same.
different. So,
Hmm.
and it ain't like that's the only one I got. So I can make a different selection.
Okay.
I would say this
Hey
is something.
Nicole,
I
Hey
would say
Nicole,
this.
we appreciate you showing up regardless of the time.
It's something that a close female friend of mine had mentioned. I asked her about that because we had discussed it a while ago, and she said she would respect the man more if he wears what he likes. That if he switch up, it does something to her. Like wear what you wear. You know what I'm saying? The way I can't explain it the way she said it. It's like sometimes if she would tell a person I don't like something and he switch it, she lose respect for him. The thing is, if that's what you like, then wear it. But like Leonard said, if you know you're going to see going to a show or going to do something and y'all gonna be together for a while, of course you're not gonna wear it. But I had asked her, what do you think about that? She said, any dude to do that automatically turns me off. If that's what you wear, that's what you wear. That don't mean I have to like it. It's gonna be stuff I'm gonna wear. And she made a joke about the rot or whatever, and I'm like, I don't really care for it, but it is whatever it is. But she said that that's just one. I'm not saying all, not
I
generalizing.
think I think Bernie, what she may be alluding to on that man is that she wants somebody that can make a decision and stick with the decision they make.
I'm trying to do clean. Yeah, I was trying to do it
Yeah,
clean. Yeah,
because it
because that's not the
if
word she used. She used some explicit words. I
yeah,
don't think
and I
much of
got
the
you on
man.
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
no,
bow down. What's up, food stamps?
food stamps. Wait a minute.
Nicole Lee asked
It's
a
the first of the
question.
month. What's up?
Nicole Lee asked a question. She wanted to know what were the fragrance reviewers that we watched, and I know that um Bernie said he stopped watching since we started the show, and I can't remember if Leonard said he had any, but some of the
I
ones that
I don't have any particular ones, no, because I
yeah,
don't really watch them that often.
one of the one that I felt that spoke directly to me hasn't reviewed in a while, and that was CJ City, right? And we actually miss him in the community, and we hope that everything's okay with him. And we do miss you out here in the fragrance game, but his nose kind of spoke to my nose, so I kind of miss hearing his reviews. And then Big Beard Business is the one that was one of the first ones that I started listening to, and he has a vast knowledge when it comes to fragrances, both designer and niche. He's very entertaining when he speaks. His shows are very entertaining, and
He gets to the point, bro.
he gets to the
Yeah, he
point.
gets to the point. He
Right.
gets to the point.
Another one is one that Nicole mentioned was the quality fragrances. I love listening to that guy because he's real, right? And he does state, and he has an extensive collection of very high end fragrances, and he will put a lot of his high end fragrances in his list, and he makes his point known that he's not compromised. He'll tell you that he's not sponsored. He'll tell you that he doesn't care if you purchase anything. He tells you what he enjoys. And that's why you will see a lot of fragrances that he put on his list be some of the fragrances that a lot of people don't um, know about or have, because they're just some of the ones that he has that, one, are probably extremely expensive, or two, or just satisfy that particular portion to his nose. But he has extensive knowledge and he does a great job, right? And those are a few that I listen to.
Yeah, I like food stamps asked the question, since Bernie said the first of month, you're gonna show up the first of month. Uh,
Food stamps.
he said, "Is there any fragrance rules, fragrance ingredient rules that men and women should stay away from?" I say, if you're a man, stay away from something that's too feminine, and if you're a woman, stay away from too much something that's too masculine. That's the only thing I can say.
Good reviewers will tell you it's unisex, but they lean more to this versus that.
Yeah,
They do some. Most of them do that, so that's the thing that I would listen to.
And to me, I feel like that should be a requirement, right?
Hmm.
Let me know if it leans feminine or it leans masculine. And you do have those fragrance reviewers that say that they don't see gender. If you like it, wear it. But from the most part, I want to know prior to if it's going to smell a little bit too feminine, right?
Hmm.
So at least put that on there to say, okay, this might be a little bit sweet if you one of those guys that that don't like, just that don't like a little feminine leaning fragrances. You might want to stay away from it. Just kind of say that. But if you want a particular note, food stamps, um, if it
you got to be careful with rose. I'll say rose.
yeah,
Hmm.
but
That's rock
You a
hot
rose
there.
man, but it's
You done hit rock hot. Who
no,
I
you
know
loves
I
the
ain't really
did,
hit,
rose?
man.
no,
But
not really, because I mean, rose for the most part is
rose is
not really a feminine note, right? It's what you
it
add
can
with it.
lean.
Right,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
exactly,
You have to be careful with it.
exactly.
Hmm.
Lilacs, stay away from that, man. Because Rock, if I hear one moment that you smell like Sister Sarah at the church,
Right, exactly. I
I'm
I was
done,
gonna,
man.
I was gonna say tuberose. If you hear anything that got tuberose in it,
Those can be.
right, then yeah, you might want to think about it before, you know. I mean, if you don't like feminine type scents, you might want to look at tuberose, lilac, lily of the valley. You might want to look at those type of florals and then say, yeah, and think about it before you do it. But in the right situation, a feminine scent is sexy as fuck on a dude. So I mean, you know,
It's got to be a good mix, though, man.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Because, like I say, man, the very minute that it
mhm.
get back to the fellas, you down there smelling like Sister Sarah at the church, Rock, we're gonna be through with you, man. We're gonna be through with
Rock gonna be here.
Hmm.
you.
Right.
Say, man, what Detroit do today?
We won, man. I was looking for
Yeah.
my, I thought I had my blanket out, but no, I didn't. So yeah, but we won. We actually, I mean, we didn't play nobody but Jacksonville, but we actually got them pretty good. We beat them by a good 20 points.
That's good.
Golf was
What
looking
what?
good today. Hmm.
Huh?
I said golf was looking good today. He was slinging the hell out
Oh
that ball.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
don't know
We
what
I
my
sit
team's
there.
doing, man. They coming up now, so
All
my
right.
attention span is getting short.
There we go.
You tell
Well,
everybody to
what's
end
next?
this
Well, Leonard,
episode,
what's
man.
next week's show about?
I'll get with Bernie because we hadn't decided yet, but
Okay,
we'll do a promo and send it out. Um, later on, saying what the show is about. So we're gonna go back and forth and kind of talk it out and figure it out.
gotcha.
Whatever it is, if it's Bernie leading, it's gonna be good. Just like the
Mhm.
one today with Rock leading, who came back off a vacation, man, all G'd up, and ready. So he's doing what he's doing, man.
You
Yo,
know how we
Rod.
do it. You know how we
Yep.
do it. But we do to thank everybody for taking a moment out of their day to come and join us. We appreciate everybody. I got food stamps, Natasha, Jeff Johns, Laquita. Hey, Laquita, Urban Sunshine, Nicole Lee, Dre. You could step in for a second. Love Jams, how you doing? Everybody that came out to to show us some love, and remember to like, subscribe, and share us out so we can grow the channel. We're gonna see if we can try to get to 100 subscribers by the new year and see if we can do that, get that going for us. And getting close to the holidays, so we probably gonna have some holiday shows coming up and things of that nature. So be tuning out for that. And again, before we shut down, I want to see if we can, if there is a possibility that we can get Dre sighting and say hello or something to the folks. If not, just let me know and we can go ahead and end the show. He ain't said nothing, huh? Right.
Hey,
All
Dre,
right.
Dre will come on after the show, man. We all gone. Dre will pop into my, hey, man, where
There
y'all
you
at?
go.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Dre,
What's that?
come
He
on, he
come up
can't
What's
hear you.
happening?
straight up like see nothing but teeth like a mug.
And the dog
Is,
again. I was ready to
is
come
that
on
what,
here and talk some stuff about some reviews too, man. I missed
Mm,
it.
oh, man,
Like he
we
was
were
about to
talking
do a
about your
pull
no
up.
buy, man.
mm.
Huh?
If
I'm
we
buying
talking
it.
about your no buy.
No, I ain't got nothing. I ain't got that. I don't know what that is.
No, so.
Never heard of it.
Uh,
Still mine.
Okay.
Just bought something else today.
Last
Dre's
No
purchase,
idea.
idea
right?
of a Dre's ideas of a no buy is not at the moment. It might change 15 minutes from now.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, give me about 5 minutes to find some good stuff. I'm getting it.
Okay. You got anything to say about these fragrance reviewers, man? Before we let the folks go.
Only thing I say is I pretty much hate them all. Anyway.
We're not saying that. We don't hate fragrance reviewers, right? We don't hate fragrance reviewers, right? So, um,
Nah. What I'm saying, y'all pretty much covered everything. I ain't really got nothing special to say.
okay, well, cool. We
Do you watch
appreciate.
them from time to time?
Nah,
Okay.
not really.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, be safe out there, brother.
get you some light or something. You can't be
Not
driving
really.
in the dark.
I mean, I want to light my face when I'm driving. That'd be crazy.
Mm-mm-mm. Okay.
Oh
Maybe
man,
that's the
be
skin
safe
tone
out
he was
there,
talking
Dre.
about. If the reviewers are not his skin tone, maybe this is the tone he's talking about.
Oh,
Woo,
damn.
Oh, oh yeah. I mean,
Damn.
And I ain't seen no review of that tone, so
like, come
that
on,
must
man.
mean he ain't
Let's be
listened to
real.
nobody.
That ain't right, man. That ain't right.
I'm
Mm-mm-mm.
sorry. I'm sorry, Dre.
Man,
Look at it, they in the
nah,
matrix.
I ain't tripping. Yeah, I'm
All
about
right,
to say
Rock, my
I'm
Cowboys on, man.
too
Take
much
us
work
out, man.
like going on.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We tune in to us next week, same time, same place, 7 o'clock Eastern time on a Sunday. We are the Illuminati, y'all. Thanks a lot, y'all.